Good day, Merry Meet. My name is Glennis, and I am the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. I want to warmly welcome you to my channel. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me, and if you haven't subscribed, well, I hope you do so. Uh, I upload whenever the spirit moves me, and the subjects I upload on it, oh my goodness, it's so random and so varied. And of course, I always listen to your feedback, but no matter, today is going to be a little bit of a chatty video, so if that's not your cup of tea, then well, what can I say? But you know, I mean, I have described my life to you in various different ways, and yesterday and today, especially yesterday, just bears everything out. There's no such of a thing as a coincidence. Everything in your world, mundane and magical world, happened for a reason. But yesterday, I'll bore you with all the details, but yesterday I went for my workout. It it was a great workout, and I said, "Well, I'm not really ready to, just be done with it." And so I said, "Well, I'm going to do a little bit of thrifting. I haven't been thrifting in a very long time. I've been trying to stay in away from crowds as much as possible, but I did a little bit of thrifting, and I I'll show you what I picked up. It's not a lot of stuff, but it all fits together in my world, so to speak. But I found this adorable teapot, and it's kind of dimensional. And yes, I absolutely am going to be using this teapot. And as it turns out, the reason I bought it, not that I don't have enough teapots, but the reason I bought it is because there is a bowl that I got from my mother's house after she passed, and it has the same color scheme, the same paint, virtually the very same thing, except it's not raised. And so I said, well, that would be really nice on my new coffee tea bar that I'm going to put together. And I clearly am going to have a shelf just for teapots, but I thought of her and I said, well, this would be really pretty to serve tea and maybe a few cookies out of the small bowl, because it's like yay big. Um, so I thought that would be nice, and so I bought that. Again, it's thrifting. This was like a couple of dollars at most. And then I found this one. Why I bought this, I have no clue. I don't need it, but it's got this really neat handle. And I think I bought it because I really enjoyed, and I think I'm going to go towards this color scheme when I do get to move to the Hollow to retire. It can't come soon enough, but I just, I really just loved it. It looks, kind of rustic, and it's got, it's raised a little bit on the bottom here. There's two open, so I think if you set it over like a candle or something, it will have some ventilation in here. But yeah, I just like the colors of it. And then I found this. Oh my goodness, it's ever heavy. And I found that. I think you can see. No, I don't need another mortar and pestle, but again, for like a dollar, I can't pass that up. And then I found this one. Now I have a bowl, a carved bowl with a wooden handle. Of course, it's all one piece. That is so incredibly similar to this mortar and pestle. This one I'm going to keep for the kitchen. Uh, I'm starting to do a lot more with herbs. And as you know, once I get to the Hollow, I'm going to be doing growing my own herbs and processing my own herbs. But yeah, it's just beautiful. Now, it was more than a couple of dollars, but you know, a girl's got to get what a girl's got to get. And so I did my thrifting, gathered, and and I said, well, before I actually get to the point where I want to sit down, I'm going to go check my mail. It had been a little while since I had checked my mail. and I had 2 pieces of love mail in there. And I was so, so surprised. And I want to thank both of you guys for this love mail. And as it happens, it's tea. Oh my goodness. What are the possibilities? I don't know. What are the odds? But one, now she had sent me, my very, very good friend, she had sent me, I think, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 of these in the individual packages. And and that's when I said buttermint. I said, I've never heard of drinking butter. Although I've seen it done twice and I'm like, no, but it doesn't taste like butter, but it does taste like vanilla and mint. And it is ever so delicious. And she sent me this and she says to make sure that I don't run out. And so I want to thank her so much for this. It is just so greatly appreciated. I do love my tea. And of course, I love my coffee too. And then I got another package, and I want to thank her so, so much. I appreciate it so much. And I believe that she went on a trip. Now, this is the card that was in the 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 buttermint. It says, I didn't want you to run out. That just is so sweet. Big hugs, lady. Thanks for being so kind. I mean, I'm just being me. And what you see, I think I said this probably a long time ago. What you see is what you get. I don't, I, I'm not pretending. I'm not doing anything that I wouldn't ordinarily do. I try to be kind. Try. I do try. But anyway, and I have another subscriber that I have been working with and that I consider a friend. And I believe she went on a trip. How nice. And the thing of it is, she went on this trip, and it is a place that I've wanted to go to for, oh my goodness, several years now. And why, I don't know. I believe I saw a little bit of it in, TV shows and movies and things like that. And I'm like going, oh, that would be great. I would love that. But anyway, and she says, hi, Glennis. It says, you mentioned your love of tea. So I picked these up for you in Deadwood. And I thought you might find the ingredients in Native American wisdom and victory teas interesting. You strike me as someone who might be native blood. Many blessings to you for 2021. And oh my goodness, many blessings to you too for 2021. We will all need them. And as a matter of fact, I do have Native American blood. On my father's side of the family and his father, so on my paternal side, my great grandmother was Native. And the reason I know this is because you guys know I come from a very strong lineage of genealogists, my grandmother being one, and then my mother. But I have written stories from many, many family members, writing down all of their recollections. And my uncle, on my father's brother, wrote what he remembered of his dad and his grandfather, because when my father was born, I believe his dad was like 55 or something like that. So his dad was a soldier. He was an infantryman in the Civil War. And so I have these family stories that once he went to war, of course, and I believe at that time they had 5 children, my grandfather being one, of course, waited and farmed and did what they had to do. But when she got word that he had been taken prisoner, and she just I'm guessing, assumed the worst, she took the children and walked from their home to the reservation. And I don't know how much time lapsed. I would have to go back in my records and find, because I do have the records of where and when he was taken prisoner. But I believe when she got word that he was released, she would walk, take the children, and walk back to the family home. And, of course, he went, instead of saying, I'm done with this, he went right back to his company or unit or whatever it was that they called, and joined them right back, taken prisoner again. And again, she heard he had been taken prisoner, and she walked to the reservation where I guess her family and friends lived. So at least she would have that support. So I absolutely do have Native American blood on one side, and I'm sure on the other side as well. So I come by it honestly. But I am so going to enjoy this. And so this particular one is Victory Tea. It has hibiscus, rose hips, orange peel, wild cherry bark, spearmint leaf, lemongrass, and natural flavors. So it is caffeine and gluten free. And this one is Lead with Wisdom. That's interesting. Strawberry leaf. Oh, that sounds very, very good. Myrtle leaf, blackberry leaf, rose hips, hibiscus, juniper berry, and natural flavorings. Those sound very interesting. I'm going to enjoy, of course, all of these teas. You guys know I just love my teas, but that really that does make it very interesting. But I'm this morning, before I go work out and before I go for my work day, I am going to go into ritual. And I wanted to share with you one of my tea recipes. Now, this is not a an everyday tea. This, when I go into ritual, I use these ingredients for psychic dreams, psychic visions, and astral projection. So with some of the dosage or amounts that I use in this, I would suggest not straying too far from it, because I wouldn't want you to drink too much of. Now, the tea I use as a base, and I'll just go through it with you. I use, set my glasses down, set my eyes down. I use 3 teaspoons of tea, and I've just got this. If you don't want to use like tea, either green tea, black tea, whatever, then certainly you can use something like a mint as a base. So that's 3 teaspoons of this, 2 teaspoons, if I can get this open, 2 teaspoons of lemon balm, and 1 teaspoon of eyebright. I did not have the herb. I do have the powder, but I'm going to reduce this since it's a powder. I'm going to reduce this to a half a teaspoon. And mugwort. Uh-oh. Mugwort. Um, 3 teaspoons of mugwort. And again, don't overdo it with the mugwort. And this, I use mugwort for astral projection. So if that's something, if you're going to start meditating in a serious fashion and really trying to take your magic to another level, mugwort, but please don't overdo. And then 1 teaspoon of rose hips. And there you go. It's just that easy. Now this probably just by will make several cups. So this is something that you could put in a small container And when you go into ritual, or if you just want to meditate and see where your psychic dreams will take you, and if you, particularly if you want to try astral projection, this is a very, very, very good tea blend for astral projection. But just, be very, very careful with this. Don't overdo it like I would do. But no, in all seriousness, mugwort, I wouldn't do too much mugwort. But there you go. This is, I mean, I would have to measure this all out, but this would probably be good for like 4 or 5 mugs, not pots, but mugs of tea. Of course, if you want to brew a pot, I would say this probably would be 2 or 3 this size pots. So this is going to make a goodly amount of tea. So I hope that you guys who are meditating, and I hope that you are, and do a little bit of astral projection and have a little bit of fun with it. I know I do. I hope you guys have a wonderful, awesome day. I hope you join me again. I have not forgotten. Later this week, I will be doing a skincare recipe, and I will give you, the basic of what I use, and this is just what I use. And if you want to take it a little bit step further, I will give you the other ingredients so you can, kind of play with it a little bit. But I hope you join me for that. I think that probably will be Friday night, later Friday night. I hope you stay safe, happy, and healthy this new year. Merry part, and I hope to merry meet again. Goodbye, guys.